Aaron came in here and said, we're absolutely putting Georgia number 1 on the Snaps top 10 because they beat Kentucky 51-13. Nothing's changed for Georgia for me. Nothing's changed for Michigan for me.
Why did we move Georgia and Michigan off our number 1 and number 2 teams in the past?
Because other teams had bigger wins.
Was it solely that, or was it they weren't dominating the way that we
No.
expected?
No. Michigan's dominated all year long.
No,
yes,
they were winning like 30-7.
No, but okay.
Their first 3 games like 30-7. They weren't like a bunch of.
Now, time out now. What happened to Mr. Watson Film? What happened to Mr. Watson Film? What happened to Mr. Watson? Because Michigan, remember, we did this study last week on Snaps. There was a great article about this. Michigan was dominating the first 3 quarters, chill in the fourth. Georgia was struggling the first and then dominating as the game went on. No, but what I'm saying is
Michigan wasn't also beating teams 50-0.
No, they were, though. They just didn't play all 4 quarters. That's what I'm saying. They just didn't play all 4 quarters. Rutgers is the only one who hung, but did you know that Rutgers is undefeated against the spread this year? Shano's actually doing a pretty respectable job up there. No, so that's why we moved Michigan over. That's why this Kentucky win is the first time that Georgia had a Michigan sort of win, and credit to them. But it ain't a better win than OU over Texas. I don't think it's a better win than Ohio State over Notre Dame.
No,
I don't think it's a better win than Florida State over LSU.
But you have to take in there has to be a human aspect to this too. It can't be just like you have a better resume, so we're going to put you ahead.
Yeah, fucking can. Yeah, think about what you just said. You can't let the football decide the football rankings. What do you mean?
You have to take into some sort of judgment, especially if 2 teams have the same record of what do those teams, in my opinion, like what do those teams, if you put Georgia and Oklahoma on a field tomorrow, who wins the football game?
I hate this game.
I don't,
this is the
why
same
not?
game that
then let the
people wanted
fucking
to play.
Football decide. If you want to let the football decide, I have to, in my mind, when I'm ranking teams I know are going to play each other, I have to kind of guess, like, okay,
you're not letting the football decide. You're hypothetically creating in your mind.
I know, because I've seen the rosters and I've seen how those guys have played, knowing that Georgia is the better football team.
But people still lose games. Look at Alabama last year. They would be favored against any team at any time, save for Georgia, and
Alabama
they lost
was
twice.
Flawed the entire season, though.
It doesn't matter. They'd have still been favored.
Like that on film. They did not look dominant the entire season. You knew that was going to come.
Put Alabama against any team in the playoff last year, save for Georgia, and they're favored. So why didn't they make the playoff? Because the football has to decide at a certain point. And I ain't going to reward you just because you fucking
lost 2 games. Georgia hasn't lost 2 games.
They lost 2 games, but to your point, to your hypothetical point, they would have been favored over TCU. They would have been favored over Michigan. They would have been favored over who's the 4th playoff team last year? They would have been favored over Georgia. Yeah, they would have been favored over Ohio State. Like I believe that. But that's what Alabama fans are trying to argue the entire time. My point is, no, at a certain point, the football does matter because shit happens. You fucking thought Texas was going to beat Oklahoma. We sat here and we crowned Texas. We made them number 1. Exactly. No, exactly. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to hear
your argument
that you just think Georgia's better than these teams.
Your argument's a 10-2 Alabama team that had 2 losses. So I don't care that Vegas would have you favored. You didn't win the football games. Georgia to this point has won all their football games. Completely different argument.
But they haven't won any impressive ones. They played at home 5 or 6 times. They beat UT Martin.
Who do you have that won?
Oklahoma.
Oh, God.
Do it.
No.
Bitch. Why not?
I will not do it. I will not.
Why not?
I know you just want to get it back in the good graces.
You just had Texas at number 1. Who just beat the number 1 team in the country, is undefeated, lead the nation in turnovers, has the guy who should be winning the Heisman right now. Why not Oklahoma? Why? Because they beat Cincinnati 20-7. What do you mean? Why? Or 20-9, whatever it was. Why not Oklahoma? Reward the wins.
I get it. I'm with you. I get it. It is hard. It is a very good point. We did have Texas at 1 for the past few weeks. They did beat them. It was a neutral site game. I still think Georgia and Michigan are the better 2 teams.
That's fine. Let's let them prove it. Let's let them get some good wins. Georgia gets a good win, and we will immediately rocket them to the top, like against a good opponent. They will immediately win the SEC.
When is that
They'll
gonna
probably have
happen?
to wait.
Against Ole
The
Miss?
SEC. That's what I was going to say. The SEC championship. No, Ole Miss would be nice. If Ole Miss keeps appreciating in value and you beat Ole Miss like you beat him like a drum, that could be enough to jump Georgia back to number one. I would cede that point. I would cede that point, but I'm not there yet.
Okay. All right. All right, fine. Let's do it. One.
Yes.
They got the best win.
Oklahoma won.
They have the best win this season. Besides
They have
Texas
the best win
going
this
to
season.
besides I still think Texas going into Tuscaloosa is the best win in college football, but you beat Texas. So you're up you're number 2. It's the second best win in college football.
Nick says Florida State has wins over Clemson and LSU. Better resume than OU. I know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I think LSU and Clemson are that good of wins. Does the combination of Clemson and LSU overcome OU's win over Texas?
Nope.
I don't think so either. Also, okay, what's kind of pissing me off about Florida State, we've gone on the mat hard for them. They're looking a little shaky, dude. Like they gotta, and then Clemson and LSU, like we said, continue to kind of depreciate in value a bit. Like, I am thinking FSU second. And to your point, Aaron, to your point that we just argued about, like, doesn't feel like they should be the second best team, but they do have the second best resume.
No. I'm not doing that.
Who do you want to go
I'll
second?
draw the
Penn
line
State?
there. I'll give you Oklahoma at 1, but I'm going Georgia, Michigan 2, 3. I'll give you Florida State at 4.
Okay. I can't even hate on that. I think we should go Michigan, Georgia, though.
No, Georgia, Michigan.
Why? We can't do this again. Why?
What did we have last week? I guess we'll keep it consistent.
We've had Michigan, UGA for weeks now because Michigan was beating the hell out of teams.
Okay, let's go. I do think Michigan right now is
String Jeans says dance around all you want, T-Boo, but it's coming down to Georgia, Michigan, X and X. Look, bro, I agree. Guys, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying the entire time.
I do agree. I think Michigan right now has been Michigan has been the most consistent, dominant football team this entire season. So they don't have the signature win, which keeps them from 1.
Yes.
We'll keep them at 2, Georgia 3, FSU 4.
Okay. I think that makes sense. I think that feels actually pretty good. Pretty objectively good there.
Ohio State 5, Penn State 6. Let Washington, who's 7-8, figure it out this weekend. One of them win, they'll jump into the top 5.
Yeah, you're probably right. Let me see how this looks on paper. Ohio State 5, Penn State 6, Washington 7, Oregon 8.
Yep. I got Texas 9, Louisville 10.
Texas. I love Louisville at 10. I'll ride with you there. Also, they have a very easy schedule, so like they should just continue to win most likely.
Yep.
Texas over USC, undefeated SC.
Yes. You lost on a last-second touchdown against now our number 1 team in the country in Oklahoma. Not letting USC, who's been just crap.
Fair logic. Absolutely fair logic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair logic. All right. I think then that makes sense. Oklahoma 1, Michigan 2, UJ 3, Florida State 4, Ohio State 5, Penn State 6, Washington 7, Oregon 8, 9, Texas 10, Louisville.
Yep.
And yes, either Washington or Oregon will jump the Big Ten teams as they continue to play now and probably jump FSU. Who does Florida State have? Let's see.
Florida State plays Syracuse, Duke without their quarterback, Wake Forest, Pitt, Miami, North Alabama, and Florida.
FSU, bro. FSU should roll into the ACC championship. Who are they going to play in the ACC championship, though?
I think we're going to find out maybe this weekend with North Carolina, Miami. We'll break that down on Thursday.
Yeah, but Louisville, like we said, Louisville just entering our Snaps top 10, dude.
And Louisville,
a new challenger enters the mix.
Louisville doesn't play. They'll play Miami at Miami. But if Miami loses a couple more, then you're not worried about that head-to-head with Miami.
KMC says Michigan's the only school with the worst strength schedule in Georgia. No, we know, but that's what we're saying is that they handled it. They kicked ass every single week. Like Michigan is the same team they were last year, except now JJ McCarthy's clearly the best quarterback in the Big Ten.
Yes.
That's what makes him scary. Now, granted, what I've seen out of Carson Beck the last couple of weeks is finally looking like the guy that Aaron was promising me all offseason. He gets a big road win. He shows that he can affect a comeback on the road, which I like. He shows that he can dominate a lesser team when you put it on him to do so. Ultimately, I just got to see what he does against a big dog, against another heavyweight, and we're going to find out eventually. But he's passed a lot of the early tests and the early steps to getting there.
He's a pretty looking quarterback, I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, it's his play, yes.
With the helmet on.
Yes, he's a thick boy, for sure.